Are you ready for the best damn sports talk show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page and, of course, check the blog section as well. We do have an action-packed show for tonight. We're going to break down the greatest division in football this year, the NFC East, and they are going to be eventual Super Bowl champions coming out of that NFC East. We also got the infamous game, Guess Who? And then we're going to put a spin on it and guess that Hall of Famer. So we got a lot to talk about, but first, we have to welcome the peanut butter to my jelly, the pickle to my ladies, Mr. Brandon V.C. Combs. What's going on, Brandon?
What is going on, Buck? What's going on, Man Hour Nation? Man, it's good to be back in the seat. 3 days this week.
Yeah, I mean,
just trying to get the hang of this.
Do you feel okay? Like, you should probably check your temperature and make sure you're not, like, being overworked over there.
All right, I got to go.
And on that note, guys, look at these new shirts that just came in the mail. I mean,
yes,
you got the crown with the little microphone with the MH, the Man Hour alternate logo. Combs has got the royal blue. And these are performance tees. So see how they kind of cuff Brandon's arms, make him look all big and buff? I mean, he isn't that buff, but the shirt just cuffs it just right. Pops up your shoulders.
Be like. Let me just sit here and.
I mean, really, when you did that, Brandon, I was like, man, this guy got some 22-inch pythons over there.
they're more like, maybe 14-inch pythons, but still.
14 inches on steroids, so he is definitely feeling that pump 100%. But Combs,
that's where the turtle comes from.
Yeah, turtle. We've been breaking down the NFL divisions. We are on to our fourth division this week. But let's talk a little bit of baseball here real quick. Your Chicago Cubs took 3 out of 4 from the Nationals, getting a 5-2 win this afternoon, and they looked impressive. They looked really impressive this afternoon. I'm not even going to lie. I sat there and watched the game. I'm like, man, this team looks like a division-winning team.
Yeah.
Are they the best team in Chicago now since the White Sox are kind of falling apart?
So I love my Cubs, and we went out there and we did our thing. And even last night in the one game that they lost versus the Nats, they battled versus Max Scherzer, and that is what impressed me the most about this entire series was that usually when we face really elite pitching, they go away. The bats disappear. They can't hit. They can't do nothing. Last night, they stayed in it. They stayed involved. They ended up losing by 1 run. Actually, they got hosed in the 9th inning of that one. They got a called strike 3 on Nico Horner that should have been ball 4. And then the very next pitch to Javier Baez, he launched a solo shot that should have tied up the game. But to answer your question, they are not the best team in Chicago. It's still the White Sox. And you... Man, I'm so annoyed with the Tony La Russa thing because not only does he not have his team's back, but then he goes out and defends the other team when they throw at his guy.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm telling you right now, this team, and I know they're the best team in the American League. They've got the best record in baseball right now, but I truly 100% believe they are winning in spite of Tony La Russa, not because of Tony La Russa. Okay, I think that they get together every day. I think that they have team meetings. I think they say, you know what, screw what this guy says, do our thing and win because we've got enough talent to do so. I mean, look, Tony La Russa is the same guy who, it was 2 weeks ago, they were down by 6 in the 6th inning. He brought in his right fielder to pitch. Down by 6 runs in the 6th inning, brought in his right fielder to pitch. I mean, that like it's just, and it's questionable decisions like that. And look, I say it all the time. People are like, well, I mean, they're winning baseball, so calm down. Okay, well, a couple years back, and I know it's a different sport, the Bears were winning football games, but they had a kicker who all season long showed them that he could not kick a field goal, and it cost them in the playoffs.
Cheers.
So now you're going to go in all season long with a manager who shows you he can't make the right decisions and that he doesn't even have your team's back.
Yeah.
He's going to cost you in the playoffs. And that sucks for the White Sox. It really does.
So a few things come to mind here when you say something like that. So I heard somewhere through the grapevine that Tony La Russa gave him the take sign on that particular pitch.
Okay. So that's the other thing, and I've heard that argument too. Let me ask you this. The unwritten rules, which was what Tony La Russa was so mad about, say you don't swing 3-0 when you're up by so much, right? That's the unwritten rule. Why would he have given him a sign? Why would he have given him a sign? There are no signs when you're up by 11 in the 8th inning. I mean, so stop. That was Tony La Russa kind of padding the fact that, well, I gave him a take sign, so that's why I'm angry. No, you're angry because you're an old head and you're an idiot. You need to go back. It was well after your bedtime. They had already stopped serving the pudding in the dugout, so I don't even know why you were still there for this game.
Right.
But you need to go back to the home where you came from, go recover from your 19 DUIs, and leave these guys alone because you do not belong coaching this team. Plain and simple. And CC Sabathia said it best, man. Did you see that clip from CC Sabathia's podcast? I
saw it, but the people that I didn't let him.
CC Sabathia just went off. I mean, I can't. I mean, I could repeat what he says here, but there'd be a lot of bleeps, and we don't want to really, have to have Buck do all that editing. But he went off, and he said the same thing. Basically, he said the same thing I did with a whole lot of cuss words. So
and CC Sabathia is probably the most realist person out there too. So he wasn't sugarcoating anything.
No.
So I mean, I definitely like that.
Yeah, and the fact that Tim Anderson has to take to Twitter to defend his teammate, and their own manager, man, tells his guy he's clueless. And then when they ask about their team throwing at his guy, he says, I didn't think anything of it. It looked like a sinker that got away. This was a sinker from a right-handed pitcher to a right-handed batter that tailed back in. I don't know. I've never seen any movement like that ever in my life.
No, that must be that new new screwball
pitch. If you don't want him to swing the bat, send him up there without a bat. If you're the Minnesota Twins and you don't want them to score on you anymore, do what you do in spring training and say, hey, look, guys, we've had enough. We're not going to waste any more of our arms. You beat the hell out of us today. Good job. You guys get the win, and forfeit the game in the 8th inning.
So we talked about your Cubs being hot. Now, Torrey Anderson, he will be on here in about 10, 15 minutes or so he won't be able to defend his boys. But the Brewers, ever since your old boy Hoffy there, the baseball lackey himself, put them at the number 1 overall power ranking. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are 2-6 in their last 8 games, losing 2 to the Cardinals, getting swept by the Braves, and then getting swept by the Royals in the 2-game series this midweek game here.
Yeah.
Are the Brewers bad?
First I want to preface this by saying I see Hoffy here in the chat, so I know he's listening. Hoffy, if you put the Cubs at number 1 on your power rankings at all this season, we're throwing down, buddy. We're going 1-on-1. We are throwing down if you even think about putting the Cubs at number 1 on your power ranking. But that being said, the Brewers are injured. The Brewers. Oh, he came on just to talk about the Brewers. Look at him.
Yeah,
but no, the
Brewers.
The Brewers are hurt. I mean, you've got Christian Yelich who can't stay healthy, but he's doing all sorts of American Family Insurance commercials. You've got a pitching staff. Look, Corbin Burns was out for 2 weeks with an undisclosed injury, aka COVID, but he was out for 2 weeks. So, they've just been. This whole division is what we said it was going to be from the beginning of this season. We said this was going to be a division that was won by a team that's just barely over 500, and that's what these teams are going to be. They're going to be bounce back and forth, below 500, above 500. That's just what this entire season is going to be in this division. And the Cardinals are coming back down to earth too. They started off hot. Yep. They're coming back down to earth as well. I think they've lost like something like 4 out of their last 7 or something. So they're starting to come back down to earth. They got a big series with the Cubs starting tomorrow, and we'll see what that brings by the end of the weekend. I'm hoping the Cubs are in first place by Sunday night.
And I'm not here to defend my Brewers at all. They are 4-14 since that Dodgers series.
Yep,
4-14, and the offense is anemic. Yeah. And
they've been anemic all season, though. Even when they were winning, they were anemic. They were winning on the heels of the pitching.
They were, but wasn't that you saying that they didn't have any pitching? And I tried to tell you that I said, no, they're going to have pitching. They're going to struggle
their pitching's
to score
faded
runs
away
this
too.
year.
I mean, they had a hot couple of weeks, but they haven't done anything since. And the Cubs,
it's more the relievers.
Was,
the relievers haven't been as dominant as you would think they would, because the starters are going out there and throwing some damn good games.
And it's been like night and day with the Cubs, because the Cubs started out until April 17th. The entire league's pitchers were hitting better than them. And ever since then, ever since April 17th, they've got the best offense in baseball. So it's just been night and day. I think that, at some point the Cubs will, come back down to earth a little bit. They are hitting the crap out of the ball right now. And like I said, you weren't on yet, Tori, but I said the most impressive game in this national series to me was the loss last night to Scherzer, because they battled and they stayed with him. They kept battling. They knocked him out in the 5th inning. And to me, when the Cubs face elite pitching, usually you can chalk that up in the loss column, and it's usually not even a close game. They stayed with him. They battled. They hit the ball. They made him throw pitches. They had professional at-bats. The Cubs have the best bullpen in baseball right now, and the White Sox have the second best bullpen in baseball right now. However, the Cubs are not getting any starting pitching. I mean, the starting pitching has been pretty bad for the Cubs. So that's why, they're, I think, now 2 games over 500. The Brewers are going to hang in there. I still think that this is a division won by either the Brewers or the Cubs. I think the Cardinals fall back down to earth. I think they're that team that just started out of the gate hotter than everybody else.
Yeah, the Brewers were without Wong. They were without Yelich. They were without Kane for 2 to 3 weeks. And that's going to have an effect on your offense. And it's going to be a couple of weeks for Kane and Yelich to even get back into the swing of things. Wong's starting to hit the ball already, but it's the other two that still haven't found their swing yet. And I'm just proud. It's been like 24 hours and Yelich isn't back on the DL yet. So,
well, you are definitely winning on that atmosphere. So, guys, we're going to take our first break of the night. We see people in the chat. Welcome everybody. Welcome Drew. Welcome I see Hoffy in there. I see Nana in there as well, guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So after the break, we're going to play the world infamous game, Guess Who? It's a simple yes or you ask a yes or no question and guess who the athlete is. So we'll be back here on the Man Hour, guys, to play that particular game. Hang tight. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhuzzle and Brandon Combs and Tori Anderson tonight. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and of course Spotify, or simply head over to youtube.com/Man Hour. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you upload the clips each and every day, 5 to 6 times every day, Monday through Sunday, 365 days a year. Let's go ahead and bring the boys back onto the screen here. Tori, welcome to the show, man. You got gone a tad bit late here, but we are going to play the infamous game, Guess Who? The game that you are well over 500 on this game, Tori. You are 10-5 on the season playing Guess Who.
Hasn't played against me yet, though.
He has not. So this is a debut here. So Combs,
this is like the
you
Champions edition of Guess Who.
Yeah. So
Neither one
Combs
of us get
is
to play
3-3.
Wyatt, though, so it's no freebie.
Alrighty. So with that being said, guys, who wants to go first? Should we go age before beauty or what?
I'll let Tori go first. Ladies first.
I'll let the ginger go first.
How about, since Tori, you are a national ranked rock paper scissors champion, let's rock paper scissor it, and whoever wins gets to pick who's to go first or second.
Ooh.
So it's rock
Ready,
paper
Tori?
scissors shoot. Okay.
Yep, it's rock,
Ready?
paper, scissors, shoot. So,
Yep.
Ready? One.
Yep.
Oh, no, it's always, the sound's off, though, it seems. Mike, you're going to have to call it, because otherwise,
All right.
if
All right,
me and
ready?
him do it.
Rock paper scissors shoot.
Ah,
He's
got
bogus.
him.
He's bogus.
Got him.
That was bogus. He was like a half a second behind me. He got to see what I threw.
I
and then he was
threw the
like,
scissors, and then I saw you throw the paper after. Like, I even looked
Mike-
down to see what you threw.
So
on my
Combs-
screen, you're like a half second behind me. Like it was like
You were a half
Same
second behind me
here.
on my screen, so
So Combs, you want to go first or second?
I'll let Tori go first. Go ahead, ladies first.
Alrighty, there we go.
He just wants to lose. All right. So my first question is: it John Hoffman?
No, he is not a
Okay.
professional athlete.
Okay. Is it a baseball player?
Yes.
Are they in the American League?
No.
Are they in the Central?
Yes.
Are they a pitcher?
No.
Is it Christian Yelich?
No.
Damn it. I was hoping to beat him with his own player.
Is it Javi Baez?
No.
Damn it.
You guys are smart, but yeah.
Is it Joey Votto?
No.
Do they play on the Cubs?
No.
Do they play on the Brewers?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Is it Lorenzo Cain?
No.
Oh,
Good guess, though. Good guess, though.
Yeah, former Royal.
Yep.
Yep.
Is it... God, I'm trying to think. What's the Chinese guy's name? I can't
no,
think
it's
of
not
it.
him. It's not him.
Dang it. What's
Which
his
one?
name, though?
There's a couple of them on the team.
It's not a Chinese guy. How about that?
Okay.
Is it Avisail Garcia?
No.
God. Is it Vogelbach?
No, it's not.
See, I was possibly thinking that too.
That's a really cool name though. Vogelbach.
Yeah. Man.
Is it Luis Urias?
No.
I'm trying to think.
Fuck, are you sure this guy plays for the? Are you sure the guy plays for the Brewers?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let's see here. Is it Josh no, you said it's not a pitcher?
It's not a pitcher.
Wait, that's his yes/no question.
No, you asked that. He was just confirming.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Is
saying. I was
it-
giving him crap.
Is it Travis Shaw?
No.
Is it Omar Narvaez?
No.
Oh, I know it. Is it Jackie Bradley Jr.?
It is Jackie Bradley Jr.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been my next. I was debating between him and Narvaez.
See, then you guys had me question, like, shit, does he really play for the Brewers? And I went back to the roster. I'm like, yeah, he plays for the Brewers.
So I'm like,
I was like, wait,
is Buck
wait a
gonna be
second.
like, it's Manny? I was gonna be like, Buck's gonna be like, it's Manny Pena. I'll be like, we traded him.
I even let you go first, and you lost that one, Tori. I don't know what to tell you.
Confidence booster. I gotta let you get comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Right. All right, so Combs, you go first on this next one.
Is it a football player?
It is.
Do they play in the NFC?
Yes.
Do they play in the NFC East?
Yes.
Is it Dak Prescott?
No. Best
Is it
quarterback in
Danny
the league, by the
Dimes?
way. No.
Is it Zeke?
No.
Saquon?
No.
Damn.
Do they play for a team that we have not mentioned a player from them yet?
We've only named Cowboys and Giants.
Yeah, so answer your question again. How about this? He does not play for the Cowboys or Giants.
Yeah. So no. Or yes would have been the answer for that one then.
Okay, so yes.
Is it Jalen Hurts?
It is not.
Is it Fitzmagic?
It is not.
Is it Zach Ertz?
No. Zach Ertz
Do they
no
play-
longer plays for the Eagles, by the way.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He got traded. Right?
What?
Didn't
They
Zach
didn't
Ertz
trade
get
him yet. He's not traded
No.
yet.
yet.
They want to trade him.
But no, it is not Zach Ertz.
Is it Chase Young?
It is not.
Do they play for the Eagles?
Yes.
I think I know it.
Greatest team in the division.
Is it Fletcher Cox?
No.
Is he your homeboy's brother, Jason Kelsey?
No.
Damn.
I forgot he played for the Eagles, though. That's a good one.
Is it Miles Sanders?
It is Miles Sanders, the top 5 running back in all of NFL.
How did I not know that?
The Miles
That's
Sanders.
such a horrible
Because they have like 7 running backs on that roster.
Yeah, but Buck had Miles Sanders ahead of frickin' King Henry as the top running back last year.
I certainly did.
How'd that work out for you when Jordan
Miles
Howard
Sanders
decided
had
to-
a bad year because Carson Wentz had a bad year because receivers couldn't catch the ball, so they
Because
kept putting
Carl
eight guys in the box.
Oh, okay.
Because Carl Wentz is a terrible quarterback.
All right, so you guys are 1-1 all the night. This is for all of the marbles here. So Tori, you get to kick it off first.
Oh, the marbles.
Is it LeBron James?
No.
Oh. I figured
have been
because
something.
I figured
Is it
I figured because you were going like clutch, hit that 3 last
Is
night.
it a basketball player?
It is not a basketball player.
Is it a baseball player?
It is a baseball player, as Kirk Cousins chimes in and says, hey, it's not Kirk Cousins. Either way.
It's,
I wonder if that's Chris Sims too.
so it's a baseball player? Are they playing the American League?
I'm not good with this yet. No, not the American League. Sorry.
Do they play in the National League East?
No.
Do they play in the Central?
Yes.
Do they play for the Cardinals?
They do not.
Do they play for one of our teams?
Yes.
Ooh.
See, that's the thing. Like, you got to like generalize.
I know,
your
but that's
questions.
I didn't want to generalize it too much because I didn't want to narrow it down to one team.
Are they a pitcher?
Yes, they are a pitcher.
Is it Jake Arrieta?
It is not.
Damn.
Are they a starting pitcher?
Yes.
Is it Corbin Burns?
No.
Is it that one guy from the Cubs?
It is the one guy from the Cubs, yes.
That was your question, haha. Is it Kyle Hendricks?
It is Kyle Hendricks.
I couldn't think of his name. That's what I was going to
Winner, chicken dinner, baby.
So
I gave it right to him. Like, brain fart. Can't think of his name.
one thing you guys have to realize is I am horrible with like names, so probably the easier name for me to say, I'm going to probably pick that player nine times out of 10. I'm just throwing it out there. So Combs, you get a couple minutes to kind of boast about it. I mean, this is your first win over Tori, so let him have it. It's your floor for 3 minutes.
I'm actually not going to boast about it. You know what I want to talk about, Tori? And I want to actually include you in on this. Let's talk about how stupid the unwritten rules of baseball are. Can we do that? Because I am so... Like, this whole thing with Tony La Russa has me completely fired up. Like, I can't stand the thought of a manager who doesn't have his players back and defends the other team. Like, am I insane for having that take?
No, because I'm right there with you. I'm like, the fact that you are so triggered about this, I love just because you're so fiery and passionate. That is the best part about it. And I was really sad that I kept trying to get, hashtag La Russa has dementia going on Twitter, but apparently I was the only one that put it out there. So really hard to go.
The only reason he still has a job is because he is friends with frickin' Reinsdorf, and there is no way that Reinsdorf is ever going to fire him and make him look silly in the middle of all this. And any other owner would have let La Russa go that night.
Look at what they did. Look at what him and Dave Stewart did when they were with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
like they had a promising young roster and they ran it like straight into the ground. It was like watching a car wreck.
I was down on this hire from day one, man. I don't like it. He's going to cost this team in the playoff. If he is still the manager in October, I will not pick the White Sox to win the World Series.
No, usually
I agree.
First series, yeah. So Drew says he has been pissed for 2 days about that whole situation. So
it's maddening, man. Like,
yeah,
I had to read that twice. I thought it said Drew said I've been pissing for 2 days at first.
He could have been liquid straight out the booty hole, but. So guys, we are going to get back on track with the NFC East breakdown. We're going to start with the Giants and the Washington football team after the break. So sit back, buckle up, and I'm ready for some trolls to come at us on the clips because that is where all the trolls come out is when we dished our teams. AKA Combs says that Detroit Lions have a horrible line. The comments blow up. So
the trolls come out at night. The trolls come out at night.
We'll be right back here, guys, on the Man Hour.
What is your name?
What?
What is your name?
Buck.
Where did you get that shirt?
It's funny that you should ask that. Head over to manhourradio.com. You can pick up the shirt up. $15.
Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding. Protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Bucks, I want Tori Anderson, and the Brandon Combs, Man Hour _ Combs, Man Hour _ Tori. You can find me at Twitter, Man Hour _ buck. So, guys, it is time to get into some NFC East schedule breakdown, the 21 predictions. So, we're going to start with the New York Football Giants first. They finished last year 6-10. Saquon Barkley missed most of the season. I think he played one game, and they struggled. They started the season off 0-6, and then they won a game, and they lost two games in a row. But then they rattled off 4 games in a row and also to win the final game of the season to finish out 6-10, finishing second in the NFC East last season. Their draft was pretty good. You guys graded them pretty well on their draft. So, Combs, I'm going to kick it to you first here. Looking at their 17-game schedule here with the healthy Saquon Barkley back, Joe Judge's second year at the helm there as well. What game do you have circled on their roster that you're like, man, this is a must-watch game here?
So they play a very, not as tough as the NFC North, but the NFC East plays a tough schedule as well. And for me, for the New York Giants, it's really going to come down to their divisional games. And I know that's cliche, and I know that it's the obvious answer. But for this team especially, because they've got some winnable out of division games that if they fare well inside of the division, they could be better than what I'm going to have them at. I just think that they aren't as good as, Dallas or Washington, and Philly's not that much worse than they are. But I just think Dallas and Washington are the cream of the crop of this division.
So, what game do you have circled that you like? They think is a must win or a game changing win? Like
I would say Week 4 versus the New Orleans Saints. If they can go into New Orleans and get a win over New Orleans, because the following 2 weeks they play Dallas and the Rams. If they can beat New Orleans and gain some steam heading into it, because at that point I have them at 2-1 heading into that game. That game could change everything for them. That game could change their season and completely turn it around and make them a contender in this division.
So do you have them losing this game then?
I do.
So one thing that you brought up was their division games. What do you have them in the division?
In the division, let's see here. I have them 1, 2.
If you look at your playoff predictor, it says on the top.
Do you need to take your socks off the count?
Oh, I didn't even notice it says it. Do I need to take my socks? Ha ha ha. In the division, I have them 3-3.
3-3, so splitting the season. So, Tori, let's kick it to you first before I ask you the marquee game of the season. What do you have the Giants in a division this year?
I have them at 7-10. I think
that's the record.
In the division.
What's the division record?
The division, no, I have them at 2-4 in the division this year.
2-4. Okay. So, what is the game that you have circled that's a must win or a must watch, or what's the game that you?
I'm going actually week 2 when they have to go to Washington. So you want to see where your offense is at. Put them up against probably the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league. It's going to be a great test for that football team to see where they're at. I have them losing that game just because I think on the heels of what the Washington football team did last year.
The not Redskins anymore.
The not Redskins with Fitzmagic in there to kind of put a steady veteran leadership in there. I think he's really going to utilize the targets around him with Trace McLaurin. They picked up Curtis Samuel as well. I think, it did. I'm pretty sure the Redskins signed Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, you're right.
So, there's a couple of different little toys there for Fitzmagic to play with. I think this is a much improved Washington football team. And it's a good test. They're going to lose this game, but it's a barometer game then to see where your offense is at and about how far off are you actually. I expect that one to actually be a low-scoring game because the Giants' defense isn't terrible either.
Right, and the Washington's defense is historically the best defense in the NFL if you're basing off scores of last season. So, Tori, we are not talking about the Washington football team yet, so I want to put this in your head when we come to talk to them next here in about 10 minutes. You have Fitzpatrick as starting quarterback or not? Yes or no?
I do, yes.
Okay, so who do you have winning that week 2 game?
I have the Washington football team winning that game.
Okay, so you guys both have marquee games that the Giants are losing, in your opinion. My marquee game that I have circled is this Week 9 matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders come into New York, the Meadowlands or whatever you want to refer to their stadium now.
MetLife Stadium.
MetLife Stadium. I've been going back and forth on this game ever since the show started when I picked all of these games. And this is the game that I think the Giants can either make the playoffs if they win this game, or they're going to be a 7-10 team like you guys both have them, I think, right, Combs? You have them at 7-10 as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think if the Giants lose this Week 9 game versus the Raiders, they are a 7-10 team, but if they win this Week 9 game, they are 9-8. And I actually have them going 9-8 this season and winning that Week 9 game, going into a bye week and preparing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that game I have circled as well, because I believe Joe Judge used to be on the coaching staff with Bill Belichick versus Tom Brady, right? Or with Tom Brady?
Yes, he was the special teams coach.
Yeah, so he probably knows how to defeat Tom Brady. So again, am I saying that the Giants are going to beat the Bucs? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I would not be surprised. This is a Monday night game here. I would not be surprised if it's a 10-7 score or a 14-10 type of score there. Do you guys possibly see the Giants hanging with the Bucs that Week 11 game, that Monday night game?
I don't. I don't see any way they hang with the Bucs. I mean, look, in the NFL regular season, I mean, anything can happen, of course. Right. But it really just depends on how Tampa Bay's playing at that point. But just on paper, I'd have Tampa winning that game by 3 touchdowns.
So let me ask you this: the Giants went 6-10 last year without Saquon Barkley in the lineup. Are you saying a healthy Saquon Barkley is only worth 1 win?
Yes, I am. He is. Yeah. He's a good running back, but the last 2 years he's had major injuries.
Right.
So eventually, I don't care who you are, it's going to wear on you a little bit mentally. Your body's going to feel good, but now you're going to have the creeping doubt is what's going to come in. Can I do this and can I do that? Until he has like a couple of games, he's like, all right, I'm comfortable. I'm back. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I can do. I think it's going to be a little bit for him to maybe feel that way, but okay. I don't think he's going to have that big of an impact. I will say the biggest thing for them this year is going to be how Daniel Jones progresses as a quarterback in year 3. Mm-hmm. He has weapons galore on that offense, but if you can't hit them when they're open, then they do you absolutely no good. So they've got him a bona fide number 1 right now in Kenny Golladay. They still got Darius Slayton. They've got Sterling Shepard. They've got Evan Ingram. They got Saquon back this year. So literally there are 0 excuses for Danny Dimes this year.
So who is the team MVP this season in 2021 season, Combs?
I'm putting it on Saquon Barkley, even though I just said he's only worth 1 win. But in order for them to be at that 7-10, in order for them to be better than that 7-10 that I have them on, again, if they go out in that Week 3 game, beat New Orleans before they head to to their 2 divisional games between Dallas and Washington, they could really turn their season around. And Saquon Barkley needs to be everything that he's poised to be if they want to do that.
Tori, what about you?
Team MVP. I'm going to actually go with the defensive player for them for their team MVP. Their defense all hinges. It's a guy that the Packers gave up on because he can't cover the pass at all, and that's Blake Martinez. But the one thing Blake Martinez does do well, he tackles. Right. And he tackles. He doesn't miss a lot. And I'm going to say that Blake Martinez has a big year for them this year with that defense, because that front 7 is one of the better ones in the NFL that nobody knows anything about.
Right.
If you look at the statistically last year, I think they were a top 10 defense. I do believe last year, or maybe just out, or maybe just outside. But this is a defense that's young and that's improving. So I'm going to go with Blake Martinez to have a big year.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with one of their offseason acquisitions and a wide receiver here, Kenny Golladay. I think he is going to be the the engine to this team, because like if Kenny Galladay has a great season and able to stretch the field down, stretch the field, and that gives Saquon a lot more room to run. So go ahead and confirm our overall picks, guys. Tori, you had them going 7-10.
Correct, 7-10 on the year. I think next year they'll be a hard team to beat. They're going to be a hard out next year.
Okay, Combs, you have 7-10 as well.
7-10.
Yeah, and I had them going 9-8. So I think Saquon is worth 3 or 4 wins at least. So I'm going to give him that. Excuse me. So moving on to the next team here, we have the Washington football team. They obviously made the playoffs last year. They had a losing record. They were 7-9, but they still made the playoffs regardless. And they gave the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a run for their money in the playoff game as well. Heineke came out and did his thing. But however, the Washington football team did part ways with Alex Smith this season, signing Fitzmagic in the offseason to kind of fill that void here. So, Tori, I'm going to kick it to you first on this particular one here. What game do you have circled on their 17-game season here that is a must-win, must-watch, that type of thing?
Week 3 versus the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo. There again, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to go out and you have to beat top-notch competition. For them, that is a great game. It's a great early season matchup for them. It's a great test for them to test their mettle. Are we for real, or do we need to tweak things? So I will take them at that Bills, just because the Bills are dominant on defense. They are dominant on offense. They have a dominant special teams. They are literally probably one of the most complete teams out there. And Washington, if you want to be considered one of the best, go out and prove it. Beat one of the best this year.
So do you have them winning that game, that weekly game?
Absolutely not. I'd give them a chance if they were in Washington, but they got to go up to face that Bills Mafia. Not a chance. Not a chance in hell.
All right, Combs, what about you?
I'm going to go, again, same team that the Giants. I'm going to go with that Week 5 matchup versus the New Orleans Saints. If they beat the New Orleans Saints, that could be the difference, in between them making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. I have them having a decent season, and I have them faring very well in the division, but I feel like that game versus New Orleans will make or break their playoff hopes.
So go ahead and put a number on that division record. What do you have them?
5-1 in the division.
5. Wow, that is really impressive. So I have a couple games circled here, and it is a rematch of the playoff game, that Week 10 game versus the Bucs. They're both coming off of buys. They're with their Week 9 buys. As I don't think Washington is going to have a chance in this game, but I think this is a good measuring stick for them to see actually where they are, and then it's going to catapult them into that Week 11 game, which like that is a game that I actually have circled. It's the Carolina Panthers. They travel to Charlotte to take on the Panthers and Sam Darnold himself. And I actually have them losing this game to the Panthers just because I don't think the Washington football team is going to be as good as they were last year. Yes, they have a complete team. They are a quarterback away, I think, and maybe a receiver but Fitzmagic is not the answer there. Heineke is not the answer there. And I think the offense is kind of bitter how they did Alex Smith, to be honest with you. I actually have them going 3-3 in the division, splitting all the games. So, Tori, what do you have them going in the division?
I have them going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori.
No. I have them going 6-0. Dallas is overhyped. There again, the Eagles are basically a bye week for whoever plays them, and the Giants are a year away.
Wow. Okay. So you had that. So you at least have them 6 wins on the season. So what is their overall record, Tori?
I have them going 13-4.
Wow.
13-4.
Holy 13-4. Mother of God.
Oh, okay. So who are their
Tori,
4 losses?
Hook me up with your dealer, bro.
Exactly.
Bills.
You have the Buffalo Bills. Okay.
Chiefs. Packers. And who is my other one here? Actually, I take them and I have them losing to the Chargers in Week 1.
Wow. So you had them going into Mile High and beating the Broncos. You had them beating the Buccaneers at home. You had them going on the road to Vegas, beating the Raiders. Wow.
Yes.
Combs, did we hear that correctly? 13-4.
I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna grow a beard just to show my belief in Fitzmagic.
Wow. Okay, Combs, what do you have there as overall record? If it's 13-4, I'm quitting the show.
I have them at 9-8 this year.
Okay, that's a little bit more realistic, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, 9-8.
I think so too.
I mean, isn't that what you had the Giants as well? No, you had the Giants at 7.
No, Giants at 7-10.
So is that a division winning 9-8?
It is not.
It is not. Okay, because the NFC has not had a repeat champion since back-to-back Super Bowl wins from New England.
They won't have
Patriots.
one this year either.
Yeah, so I actually have the Washington football team going 6-11 this season. I do have them starting the season off 2-0, and then the wheels kind of fall off.
And that's why I had that circled game, that Week 5 game against New Orleans. I have them losing that game, but if they win that game, that puts them at 10-7, and that puts them really close to winning that division again.
Yeah, I actually have them winning that Week 5 matchup versus the Saints, but that gauntlet of a schedule between Week 3 and Week 10. I mean, you play the Bills at Falcons, Saints, Chiefs, Packers, Broncos at Mile High, and then the Bucks. I mean, that's kind of a make or break stretch there, right, Tori?
Yeah.
110%. I absolutely agree with you. But there again, the Saints are terrible. So I don't know where Brandon's getting that information that they're going to be good. If Jameis is at quarterback, Brandon's in trouble.
I mean, we will break down the Saints, coming up next week here. But the only thing that they lost was their quarterback. So I'm not for sure how they can be horrible. But one of the Washington football team's biggest off-season signing was the quarterback of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they released Alex Smith, and they also signed Heineke to that 3-year, $25 million deal, I think it was. Combs, do you see Fitzmagic starting the season for Washington?
No.
No?
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody else that could. I mean, it's the Washington football team. So the reason why I said no at first was just because I think they'll be stupid and they won't make the right decision. But I could see Fitzpatrick starting for them. He always finds a way to.
Right. And Tori, you said you had Fitzmagic starting as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think Heineke was a flash in the pan type thing. That was a Gardner Minshew type showing.
Right. So does Fitzpatrick play all season, Tori, and lead them to the 13 wins?
If he does start all season, 13-4. If he gets hurt, that changes things dramatically for my picks.
Is it like, are you almost flip-flopping it to 4-13?
No, not that bad. Just because that defense alone is worth 2 or 3 wins.
All right. So do you have them making some noise in the playoffs then?
I do. I have them making a little bit of noise in the playoffs this year. I have them winning their first playoff game. So
okay. So Combs, let me kick it to you. Who is the lead or the team MVP for Washington football team in the 2021 season?
It's a tough one. I really want to go with Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go defense here, and his name's escaping me right now.
Chase Young.
Chase Young, yes. Chase Young is going to be the MVP.
What about you, Tori?
I'm sticking on the offensive side of the ball. He was a surprise last year. He's not going to surprise that many people this year, but Antonio Gibson is probably going to be in the upper echelon of running backs after this year.
Yeah, and I'm going to stay with Combs here and go on the defensive side of the ball, but I'm going to go to the other defensive end because I think they're going to be double teaming Chase Young all season long. I think Marquez Sweet has a huge season, and that defense is going to be very, very dominant this season. So, guys, any closing thoughts here before we head to our next break and jump into the next game?
Yeah, I really think that I need to talk with Tori after the show and get the number to whoever his supplier is.
13-4,
he's got some
Tori.
good stuff over
What
there.
the fuck,
13-4.
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm speechless. Like, you had them losing to the
Count
Bills,
it.
Chiefs, Packers, and who was the other one? The Chargers, week 1.
The Chargers.
Man, you have many people had the Buccaneers going 17-0, but you had the Washington football team beating them.
I do.
Who's going? The Buccaneers are not going 17-0. Stop it.
No.
Listen to ESPN.
Yeah. I was gonna say, there's no way that a team goes 17-0.
We will find out as we do break down the NFC South starting next Monday here. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump into our next break here. But we do have a new game coming up here on the Man Hour. Combs, you want to go ahead and explain that new game?
Yeah, so the new game is called Name That Hall of Famer. I'm going to go ahead and break down clues. The guys are going to have their buzzers, which is just going to be shouting out their name. If you shout out your name and you shout out an answer and you're wrong, you're out. And that gives the other guy a free reign to get the rest of the clues.
All right, guys. So, Name That Hall of Famer coming up here on the Man Hour after the break. We'll be right back after this short little commercial interlude.
Man Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding. Protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhead along with Tori Anderson and the BC Brandon Combs. You can find us all on Twitter at manhour_Tomes, manhour_Tori, and of course, manhour_Buck. You have missed any part of the show whatsoever. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and now Amazon Music as well. And then, of course, you can go to youtube.com/manhour. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon as we upload clips from the show each and every day, all day, every day. Breaking news. What's
Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have agreed to their third fight. Do you know why they've agreed to their third fight?
Because
there's nobody else in boxing.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it comes to, right? Like, I mean, like, at what point do you, like, you know what, I've lost to the guy.
I don't even understand why boxing's still a thing. Nobody watches it.
It's corrupt. It is the most corrupt sport in the entire world. Like, it is not. It's how would they're like, oh, we have these giant purses, and all this, and $150 for the pay-per-view. Like, no, nobody cares.
Right. The last boxing box that I watched was Pacquiao and Floyd.
I didn't even watch that one.
I
caught it on ESPN.
The last one I watched was Pacquiao and who was the other guy? He fought like 3 or 4 times.
The last one I watched live, to be honest with you, was when Tyson bit Holyfield.
1997, just called Combs.
Yeah,
well,
that was the one I watched.
The last fight I watched on pay-per-view prior to that Pacquiao fight was Tyson versus McNeely after Tyson got out of prison.
Wow. So let me bring up a comment here by Drew here. Drew says Rodgers will be the starting QB in the Saints this season.
He is not going to the Saints. He's either going to be in Denver or San Francisco.
It is more likely he ends up
maybe
in Washington
Vegas
than any of those things Brandon just said.
No. What? Vegas, Denver, or San Francisco are the likely 3 options.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where he won't be. In Green Bay.
What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet?
Huh?
Put your money where your mouth is. What do you want to bet?
Shaved heads.
Like bald? Are we going bald?
We'll talk after the show. My wife listens to the show. I can't tell her how much money I'm going to lose. Or win.
Combs
it doesn't have to be money.
Denver,
we can bet whatever. It doesn't have to be monetary.
Let's shave some legs. Let's shave some legs.
Shave some wax. Loser has to wax their legs.
Loser has to wax
I'm going up against an owner of the Packers. He knows what the bat behind the scenes stuff.
Me and 25,000 other people.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you own a house in Green Bay, you're an owner of the Packers. So
how about the loser has to do the ice bucket challenge? Do you guys remember the ice bucket show?
Wife in the world. Look what she just came down with.
There we go.
A brand new bottle. Look at that,
sir. Thank you, Michelle. Now the show will get on track 100%.
I was gonna say because like we were talking, like he said, wax your leg. I do that, but I don't have any hair the way it is. So,
dude, I've got some
ice bucket
legs.
challenge. Let's do the ice bucket challenge.
All right, I'm down for an ice bucket challenge.
All right, we'll do the ice bucket challenge.
Let's do it. All right. So you guys ready for this new game?
We are.
All right. So the way it's gonna work. All right, I'm gonna give a clue. If you think that you know it after the clue, you say your name. If you say your name, you get to guess.
Okay.
But I'm going to keep going with clues until somebody chimes in. But I'm going to give you a second in between clues, all right? Okay. You ready?
What if we both get it wrong?
Ooh, Trevor Bauer wins.
Then I win. I don't give Trevor Bauer points for nothing except for his Twitter account. All right.
It is pretty lit, Twitter.
So, this player in Major League Baseball was a 2-time MVP. He was also a Major League Player of the Year and a 3-time Silver Slugger. He is from Danville, Illinois, and he played in the American League between 1974 and 1993.
And I am so screwed. Michael.
Go ahead.
George Brett.
Oh, nope.
No.
He wore the number 19.
Oh. I would have lost it there.
Tori, it is the kid Robin Yount.
It is the kid Robin Yount. See, Buck, you had to wait a second, man. You could have got it with the number 19. Probably not.
Honestly, I don't know who that is. I couldn't tell you. I'm not even gonna lie.
He is one of the only players to ever win the MVP at 2 different positions.
Yeah.
So one thing, Tori will probably beat me in Major League Baseball 100% of the time because he has a wealth of knowledge of baseball.
Maybe we're a little bit more in your wheelhouse with this one.
Probably not. Let's just
this NFL Hall of Famer.
I thought we were going Little League.
Yeah, I could do some Little League. Yeah.
This NFL Hall of Famer played for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2006 and 2007.
Okay.
He spent most of his career with the New England Patriots. He went to the Pro Bowl 5 times. He's a Hall of Fame All 2000s team. He's a defensive back.
Michael. Is it Harrison? I can't think of his first name.
It is not Harrison.
Rodney Harrison, isn't it? Rodney Harrison?
Yeah. It's not Rodney Harrison.
Tori, it's
ahead.
Ty Law.
It is Ty Law.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Ty Law. Man.
Dang, man.
I was going through all the
I gave a
names.
Brewers one. I gave a Kansas City Chiefs one. All right. 2-0.
Didn't Ty Law play for the Ravens for like a little while too?
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Because Combs was
not the Ravens. He played for the Jets and the Broncos for a season.
Yeah, I do remember him from the Broncos. I don't ever remember him playing for the Chiefs though.
I do.
2 seasons.
Was that his very last stop? Like after the
No,
Broncos and Jets?
his last stop was Denver. He started all 16 games in both seasons with Kansas City. He had 6 interceptions in those 2 seasons. He had.
Was that the year Trent Green was there and they went like 3-13?
It was 2006, 2007. I don't know what the records were that year.
Okay.
All right. Man. All right, you guys ready for this? This is going to be a tough one for both of you guys.
Yeah.
This NHL Hall of Famer won 1 Stanley Cup. He hails out of Ontario, Canada. He's a 2-time WHA champ. He wore the number 16 and the number 9 for his team. His son also won a Stanley Cup.
He's got to be old.
He played for the Chicago Blackhawks.
See, now you're going into where I'm thinking you're going. And Tori, I'm going to go, is it Bobby Hull?
It is Bobby Hull. Wow. Tori's up 3-0. Buck, do you want to try to save some face with the last one?
So I'm going to say the only hockey player that I know is the coach for the Coyotes. What is his name? You guys know what I'm talking about. The Wayne Gretzky, right?
Gretzky.
And then
the most overrated hockey player of all time.
Yeah.
Gretzky's a coach now?
Like he was a coach, wasn't he?
Yeah.
For like Coyotes for like a
He's
little
still
while?
coaching for him.
No, I thought he was like part owner or whatever of them.
No,
he was part of the ownership group. I thought that brought them to Arizona.
Yeah, he was coaching for a little bit though.
And then I was thinking of
this
Martin
game might
St.
be
Louis
this
or
guy
something.
game might be more for Tory versus Wyatt.
Oh, 100%. 100. Dude, I am so bad with names. Horrible.
All right, let's see if you can get this last one, all right? This guy is a basketball Hall of Famer. He's a 3-time NBA champ. He won all of his championships in succession in the 1990s. His nickname is Euro Magic. He played for the Chicago Bulls.
Tori, is it Tony Kukoc?
Yeah,
it is.
That's where I was going.
I was like,
you couldn't just wait a little bit, Tori, and let him get one? God,
No.
I thought you were all about making people feel good.
Yeah, I mean, so when you said 3, like I in my head, I took out all of the Chicago Bulls, Shaq, Kobe, right, and like I was thinking more of like San Antonio Spurs, but I don't.
But I
think
said in the 90s though.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking the Worm at first. I'm like, oh, it's the Worm.
I was thinking that too because he came in the second 3-peat for the Bulls, right? Because he was with the Pistons.
Yeah.
When they,
you know how many
won it.
nicknames this guy had? So his nicknames were the Croatian Sensation, the
I do
Waiter,
remember that one. Yeah.
That one I remember. Yeah.
the
I
Waiter,
don't remember the
Euro
Waiter.
Magic, the Pink Panther, the Spider of Split, Kooky, Alien, and Special K.
Those are all horrible nicknames except for the
Except for the
Euro
Croatian
one.
sensation.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
The waiter too was a pretty good one because he did look like he'd be serving you at a table somewhere.
Who gave him these nicknames? Was that all from Jordan?
It's got to be from. Yeah, Mike was great at that stuff. But no, how did you guys like that game? I really do think that Wyatt versus Torrey.
Yeah, that is 100% game toward Wyatt and Torrey. They're both.
But Wyatt will lose if it's not basketball or football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I went there and I did all 4 sports, but I mean, I could certainly.
I mean, you could stump us all and go like NASCAR, and we'd all be like, I don't know.
Maybe we'll play this game on Sunday night. Maybe we'll play this game on Sunday night. There is no such thing as NASCAR. NASCAR is not a sport.
Any NASCAR
I don't care who I offended. NASCAR is not a sport. Go away.
Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and Richard Petty, and you'll be friends for everybody over there, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say Jeff Gordon. Actually, fun fact. So my uncle was a Dale Earnhardt Jr., or not a Dale Earnhardt Jr., but a Dale Earnhardt fan. And he absolutely hated Jeff Gordon because he could pronunciate his words and wasn't like a Southern hick. So I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Like people hated Jeff Gordon because he could talk
because he knew how to enunciate.
Yeah, this fucking white boy from North Carolina or wherever he's from. That's stupid.
That was a big word that hurt my head.
All right, guys. So we are going to take our next break. On the other side of the break, we got the rest of the NFC East to break down. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming up, and possibly the best team in the division, the Philadelphia Eagles, with their number 1 quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Is he a top 15 quarterback? Who knows? We'll find out here, coming up on the Man Hour, guys, right after this quick little break.
Hey there, Mr. White T-shirt wearer dude.
Mr. White shirt wearer dude.
Do you wear the same shirt every day?
Same shirt every day.
Do you do the same thing every day?
The same thing every day.
Don't you worry, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Now with Man Hour merch, you can spice up your style each and every day. From hats to beanies to shirts, we got you covered, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Shop at manhourradio.com. T-shirts start as low as $15. Shop today.
Why, thank you, manhourradio.com, for this awesome merch. Hats, T-shirts, $15. You can't go wrong.
Pretty obvious in that one. Dak's coming back off. You got Tom Brady, and did I mention 22 starters coming back?
When I say Lamar Jackson is trash, I'm not saying he is the worst quarterback in the league. But he is definitely not the best quarterback in the league. When you say somebody is trash, it is based off the perception of the general public.
Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding. Protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Tori Anderson tonight. Missing any part of the show, hit the youtube.com/Man Hour. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. We get all the clips uploaded there throughout the show. Combs, are you all right over there?
Dude, if you do not like playoff hockey, you suck at life. Dude, the Pittsburgh Penguins and New York Islanders are in the third period, and the series is tied at 1, and they just put 9 guys into the penalty box.
Wow.
9 guys in the penalty box while we were on break.
Aren't there only 10 guys on the ice at one time?
There are. and 9 of them just ended up in a penalty box. It was, the one guy started poking at the goalie. One guy didn't like that, so the other guy high-sticked him, and they were just like, screw it, you're all going to the box.
So they got to sit in that penalty box for like 5 minutes. So it's basically one guy shooting. So it's one guy out there skating, shooting at the puck at the goalie like the whole time?
No. So the penalties will offset. It looks like it's actually 5 guys for the Islanders went and 4 for the Penguins went. So right now it looks like it's going to be a power play for the Penguins. It'll be a 5-on-4 power.
Okay, so the 4 is the least amount you can skate?
No, 3 is the least amount you can skate.
3 is the least amount you can skate, yeah.
Okay.
I just want to know, is Crosby in the box? Because if he is, he's probably crying. He's like,
Crosby is in the box.
There went my perfect attendance.
When he went down, I can't stand him either. When he went down, I was actually cheering.
Wow,
it's a good thing we were on break because I can't stand Sidney
So
Crosby.
Drew says go Penguins, and then BC Junior says Brewers took the lead, baby.
Yeah, the Bruins did take the lead. That was
a
good game last night. Did you see that goal? The goalie for the Washington Capitals just fell asleep behind the net. The Boston Bruins guy came skating in from the blue line, rushed behind the net, stole the puck, and just put it in, tucked it into the net.
He just put it in. Didn't even spit on it.
Oh, and I tell you right now, freaking Alex Ovechkin was yelling. They're like, I wonder what he was yelling at his goalie. So they had an interpreter interpret it. He said, "Stop sleeping, bitch."
Nice. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back into the NFC breakdown here. The next team up here on the list are the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys suffered a horrific injury last season. That was Dak Prescott going down, and I think it was week 3 when he went down with that dislocated ankle and broken leg as well. And then the Cowboys really struggled to really find their groove, but the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, they won 3 straight, and then eventually losing the Week 17 game versus the New York Giants, getting them out of playoff contention. So they did finish the season 6-10. Sean Lee retired for the Cowboys in the offseason, but they also did pick up a linebacker in the draft. So, Tori, I'm going to kick it to you first here. Looking at the Cowboys' schedule here, what game do you have circled as that marquee game?
Well, first off, you said that the Dallas Cowboys suffered a horrific injury. You are 100% correct, but I thought you were talking about Mike McCarthy being hired as their coach. So
no, he's a Hall of Fame coach, Tori. He will lead them to the Super Bowl this year.
I like to gamble, so let's put money on this.
Okay.
So I'm going right away with week 1 with the Buccaneers. It's going to be the toughest game that they probably got all year. And it's a great way to start the season off. That is a great game to kick off the year. So it's your opening game. It's going to be on the Thursday night game. As we know, the Super Bowl champs always open at home. So give me them, the Cowboys against the Buccaneers, opening night, kicking off the NFL season, and watching the Cowboys go 0-1.
So you do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that game. Is it a blowout game?
Generally, Thursday night games are for the home team. So,
this is a little bit different because it's the opening day. So I mean, it's not like you're on short rest or like anything,
right?
So,
but I do because I think the Cowboys are not very good.
So you think that week 1 is a trend of what is going to happen through the 2021 season?
Absolutely.
Holmes, what about you? Marquee game.
So my marquee game is actually going to be week 2 because I also agree with Tori. I think they're going to lose to Tampa Bay, but week 2 against the Los Angeles Chargers, it's a very good team, a very young and up and coming team, a team that I have doing very well this season as well. As a matter of fact, I think the NFC West is going to be the best division in football. But with that being said, in honor of our boy Wyatt, I think the game against the Los Angeles Chargers is going to be the game that turns it around for the Dallas Cowboys, and they go on a streak, and they end up being very well 4-2 in the division. I have them 7-5 in the conference, so I think that this team is going to do very well. I also have them winning this division.
Yeah, so going off of what you guys said, I also have them losing that week 1 game, but then I have them winning 4 games in a row going into that Patriots game, which I do think the Patriots will win that game as Mac Jones will take over week 6 and we don't have any film on him. But the game that I have circled and the game that I'm going to be at because I have an amazing wife is the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I had that game circled just because, like, if the Cowboys, well, no, well, like that, but the reason why I had that game circled is if the Cowboys can go toe to toe off offensive wise with the Kansas City Chiefs, which I think it is going to be a shootout, hopefully a shootout, like 45-42 score, and if we see that Cowboys offense do that, I think that will catapult them into a 10-win season, and I also have them 4-2 in the division columns, but I also have them finishing 10-7 on the season. Tori, what do you have them overall record at?
Overall record, I got them at 9-8.
Okay,
so I got them going 2-4 in the division.
Wow,
I can't stand this guy tonight. Like he is smoking the good stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know where he got it from. Like it's laced with something. But anyway, I have them at 11-6. I have them at 11-6. I have them losing to Tampa Bay week 1. Then I have them winning until week 8 when they lose against the Minnesota Vikings in a game that they shouldn't lose, but they do. Mm-hmm. And then I have them winning the next 2. I have them losing to Kansas City, winning the next 3, losing a game to the Giants, then losing to the Redskins, then losing to the Cardinals, but then beating the Eagles and have them finishing 11-6 and winning this division.
I lied. I don't have them at 9-8. I have them at 8-9.
Okay, which is still kind of mean. I guess that's kind of Dallas Cowboys.
This team with Dak Prescott last year that makes them think that they're going to be 8-9.
They
were the best offense with Dak Prescott last year.
When you have no defense and you can't stop anybody.
The defense didn't play well for the first 5 weeks, but for the last half of the season, they might have been one of the best defenses in football.
Right.
I will tell you right now, there is no way.
All right,
and you know why?
We're gonna make some bets on this football season, man.
Their head coach is what's going to hold them back from being a good football team.
You know what? I agree with you that their head coach is a problem. He's the reason why I will not have them in the Super Bowl, but he is not the reason why they won't go 11-6. He has shown that he's very capable of being a good regular season head coach. I don't know. I don't get it. Dak Prescott does things with this offense that nobody else can match. I think Dak Prescott is a top 4 quarterback in this league. And I don't know how much more he has to prove to people other than being injured and still leading the league in passing for 5 weeks after being injured.
It wasn't 5 weeks. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. And what does that tell you about your defense at that point, that you had to throw for 500 yards every
for the first 6
the
weeks?
Defense, the defense was playing bad. They were scoring 35 plus points a game, and they were still losing. I agree with you. The defense was bad in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, they were the best. But second half, so you can't just discount what they did in the second half of the season last year.
Yeah, I can, because they were terrible.
Oh, so Tori, the one thing that the Dallas Cowboys had working against them in the 2020 season was they did get a new defensive coordinator. Sean Lee was also out the first 8 weeks of the season. We saw it as soon as Sean Lee came back in. That defense was a brand new defense. Everything started to click, and then they were rolling. So not having a off season, a regular offseason, like air quotes there, and then Sean Lee being injured, we saw once things clicked, the Dallas Cowboys were a pretty good team. I mean, I actually sat here on the Man Hour and said if they were to win the NFC East, I had them going to the NFC Championship game, and I still think that they could have closed against the Eagles and won the division, they would have been the NFC Championship game.
Now who's smoking the good stuff? That's some good Chiba you got going
I don't
on
disagree
there,
with them.
Nah, there was no way. Not a chance. This is an overrated team. Okay. It is hands. Ezekiel Elliott is one of the most. the running back. Ezekiel Elliott is not that good of running back. And there again, but this comes down.
The numbers do not
to the head
support
coach,
your
though.
theory there. The numbers, and trust me, I don't
comes-
like Ezekiel Elliott, so I was looking, and we had this conversation last year at the beginning of the season when we started talking about our running back rankings, and I tried like hell to keep Zeke out of even my top 5. And after looking at the numbers, I had no choice but to put him at number 1. Like I couldn't, because you can't deny it. The numbers, they're so far superior to anybody else's numbers.
Look at McCarthy though. McCarthy does not run the ball. Every year he talks about run the ball. He does not run the ball. He is not a good.
That's fine. He doesn't run the ball. He doesn't run the ball. But Zeke is good coming out of the backfield and catching the ball too. Zeke is a very versatile back, and Zeke, I'm telling you, man, to say that he's overrated, to say that he's not as good, it's just a false statement.
He is. He's overrated. He's not even in the top 5 of running backs in the league.
Yes,
no.
He is.
I would put him in the top 10, but not in the top 5.
Total off topic here, but who are your top 5 running backs in if Zeke isn't in there?
So you got CMC's number 1.
Okay, I'll give you that.
You've got Aaron Jones is in there. I wouldn't put Aaron Jones number 2 though. I would put Aaron Jones probably number 5. You got Alvin Kamara, who's probably the number 2 back in the league. I would put
Imagine
Saquon
that
Barkley.
He's got a Packer number 5. Imagine that.
But the thing, you can't deny it. The guy's got like 30-some touchdowns.
You can't deny Zeke.
You've got 30-some touchdowns over the last 2 seasons for Aaron Jones.
How many of those were through the air though?
Quite a few.
So
he does both. He's probably just as good out of the backfield as a receiver as he is a runner.
So you are saying that since Zeke gets the ball out in the flats more, just like Aaron Jones, he is in a top 5? I mean,
no, he is not. I think he's an overrated back.
I mean, you're kind of counter-cutting yourself there.
He doesn't have the burst. He doesn't have the breakaway speed. He doesn't have anything like that.
The guy has run in 5 seasons. 5 seasons that he has run the ball. He's run for 6,384 yards.
I'm trying to find his stats for last year.
I don't understand. His stats from last year, he almost ran for 1,000 yards again last year in a very inept offense after Dak went down.
Yeah, they had 8 or 9 guys in the box.
He ran for 979 yards last year. He ran for 6 touchdowns.
What does that say? That doesn't say elite back to me.
Well, and
what are you talking about?
Zeke
He scored 46 touchdowns in 5 seasons.
Aaron Jones has got 30 in 2.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so you gave us 3. You gave us CMC, Alvin Kamara, and Aaron Jones. What other 2 are top 5?
I'm trying to think here.
Zeke had a down year last year. Aaron Jones' last 2 seasons, he doesn't even have more rushing yards than Zeke.
That's because he does both.
So does Zeke.
He's
a rushing about.
Right. So go total yards. Then look at the whole picture instead of trying to fit your own narrative. Because you're trying to fit your own narrative, you're not looking at the whole picture. You're like, oh, rushing yards. Look at total yards and compare them total yards.
All right, so let me take a look here at total yards. Last year was 1317 for Zeke. Last year was 1459 for Aaron Jones. The year before that was 1558 for Aaron Jones. The year before that was 1777 for Zeke.
So they're both on par. Now what do they got touchdowns wise? I'll give them that then.
What do you got touchdowns wise? I mean, Aaron Jones had 16 last year. Zeke had 12. Aaron Jones had 9 last year. Zeke had 6. Like you're
rushing?
You can't. Yeah, rushing. If you look at,
I thought you're doing. I thought you're doing like I didn't realize you broke it down receiving and rushing. I'm okay.
All right, but it's 2 totally different style offenses. You want to go to receiving touchdowns. Zeke has had 2 in each of the last 2 years, and Aaron Jones had 3 last year and 2 this year.
Zeke's overrated. Zeke is
totally
trash.
blew up his argument. Totally blew up his argument with facts, and he's like, Zeke's overrated. I don't care.
So
he's a Cowboy fan.
We are still missing two running backs who round up your top five. And if you have to think about it, that means you are really starting to stretch. Let's just be honest.
No,
there's the numbers they blow you out of the water. You have no leg to stand on against Zeke being a top. I don't care if you don't have him at number one, because I'm fine with CMC and maybe even Saquon and a couple other guys up there ahead of him. But to say no, Kamara's not better than Zeke. Good. Stop it. Stop. He's just a product of a very good offense, is what he was. And that's what he'll always be. If you put Kamara on any other offense in the league, he's not as good as he is in New Orleans.
You could say that about almost anybody. Then we could play the what if.
No, you can't. I could put Zeke on any team in this league, and he does the same thing.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah,
you're gonna put him on the
if not better.
You're gonna put him on the Jets, and he's gonna be good. No,
100% with that offensive line that they built in the draft.
Le'Veon Bell thought he could do that there too, and
Le'Veon Bell is not Zeke. Le'Veon Bell was done.
Le'Veon, well, in his
even Pittsburgh told him he was done.
So let's go ahead and swing back to the Dallas Cowboys here. Combs, who is their league MVP or their team MVP this season?
Zeke. No, I'm just
you
joking.
Knew that was coming.
It's Dak. Dak's going to be the MVP. Dak's going to be the MVP of the league this year. So he's going to be the MVP of the Cowboys as well.
Wow. Okay, Tori, what about you?
I'm going to agree. I think Dak will be the team MVP of this year. I'm not giving him the MVP of the league. However, I am going to give him comeback player of the year this year, though, too. I think Dak does have a big year this year.
And I'm going to go on
Dak has a big
side.
year, and they're 8-9.
Yep.
God, you're such a Packer fan.
And I'm going to go on the defensive side. I'm going to go with Jalen Smith. I think Jalen Smith is the new key to that defense with Sean Lee being out and Van Der Esch being hurt to start the season. So I think Jalen Smith has to jump up big and really be the leader of that whole entire team. And how good he plays is how good the Dallas Cowboys play this season. So before we move on, let's go ahead and put the win-loss total on there, guys, just for one last time. Combs, what do you have them at?
I have the Cowboys at 11-6.
11-6. Tori?
8-9.
And I had the Cowboys going 10-7, winning the NFC East this season.
Same.
So moving on to the next team here, the team that was fourth in the division last year, just not very good. They let go of their quarterback in Carson Wentz to bring up the second-rated worst quarterback in all of NFL, and that is per football reference. I want to add second worst quarterback in all of starters. So, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. So, Combs, we're going to kick it to you first here. What's that marquee game, man?
Look, I'm going to preface all this by saying I said last year when everybody was all about Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts should play, they should sit Carson Wentz, blah, 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 blah. Jalen Hurts was a better answer last season than Carson Wentz was, but he was not the answer. He is not the answer. He is not a good quarterback. He is a backup quarterback. He is a journeyman in this league. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and circle, I don't know, pick one because I don't have him winning very many games. I'd say week 5 versus Carolina. That's a winnable game. You got to come out and win that game, and maybe you'll win more games than I think you will. But I just don't see any scenario where this team has a successful season.
Do you have them winning that game versus Carolina week 5?
I do not.
You do not. Okay, so within the division of the NFC East, what does their division or their games look like?
0-6.
0-6, getting total swept by everybody in the NFC East. Wow. Okay, Tori, what about you? Marquee game for the Eagles.
I'm going with their game in Week 13 on December 5th against the New York Jets because I have them winless until that game.
Really? Wow.
So yes, and I think they play the Jets and they finally get their first win of the year. I think the Eagles are going to struggle mightily this year. They need to figure out A, what direction they're heading, B, what they're going to do at quarterback. So you either commit to Jalen Hurts or you don't this year. So I got them. I got them winning that game, and I only have them with one other win the rest of the season.
You had them getting 2 wins all season.
Yes, I have them going 2-15.
And the division, are they winless just like what Combs has?
I have them going 1-5 in the division.
1-5.
Oh.
So
let me guess, you haven't beaten the Cowboys.
I do in week 17.
So let me ask you this question here. The Eagles did pick up Joe Flacco in the offseason, and you said we need to find out, as Philadelphia Eagles fans, we need to find out if Jalen Hurts is our guy. Do you at some point see Joe Flacco coming in to try to save the season, maybe save Jalen Hurts' confidence a little bit at all? I mean, do you have them going 2-15, which is horrible? So they had to shake something up, right?
I would 100% agree with you, but there again, if you're going to commit to Jalen Hurts, you're not going to bench him to save his confidence. That's not really the way of the NFL these days. I mean, it could be headed that way. Who knows? But I don't think so, because that's going to rattle him no matter what, that he got benched. Right. If he's getting destroyed, it's going to get rattled. If he gets benched, it's going to rattle him. It's all going to come down to what works best to motivate that player. Some guys respond better to negative criticism. Some guys, constantly need to be built up and stuff like that. So I'm not a coach of the Eagles, so I don't know what his mentality is like and what way best motivates him. So I don't think that putting Flacco in would be the answer. If you're going to do it, put Flacco in to start the season then. And say, hey, we're going to go with Joe. We're going to go with the experience. You're still learning the offense. I would do it then, and then see what happens.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm kind of taken back by that a little bit. But do you guys remember the name of the quarterback Vince Young for the Tennessee Titans? About 2004, I think he was in the league.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Vince Young in this kid because, I mean. The pure athletic ability, the able to stretch the pocket.
You think he's going to contemplate suicide?
Yeah, I'm being serious. I don't wish that upon anybody, but I feel like he is a head case, right? Because he transferred, from Alabama to OU, right? Just because he didn't want to battle for that starting quarterback's spot. And so I think when you get into the NFL and you face this adversity, and let's just be honest, the Philadelphia Eagle fans are assholes. They will be on you, and they will let you know brutal. that you suck. And I feel like he is a person that has to be consistently patted on the back, saying you are doing good, you are doing good. So I think Tori's right. I think Joe Flacco has to start the season if you want any production out of this guy at all. Because if he starts the season, and Tori, you said you had their first win coming week 13.
Yeah, against the Jets.
Yeah, so if you start 0-12, his psyche is shot, and he will never bounce back. So I am not trying to be mean. Clearly, I don't know the guy, but that is kind of what I see. Reading between the lines, just between transferring.
They have a really strong schedule the first 6 weeks too.
Oh, they do. It's.
I have them winning week 1. I have them beating Atlanta, but then they lose to San Francisco, Dallas, Kansas City. Even Carolina beats them because they're just on a roll of losing. Then they lose to Tampa Bay. Then they lose to the Raiders even before they finally beat Detroit, who I think is probably the only team in the NFC that's worse than them.
Which that is false. The Lions win that game.
Well, and now we already did the freaking NFC South, so I have the Falcons going to 12-5 or 11-6.
We haven't.
But now they're going to trade. Now
I have them at 2-15.
Well, now they're going to trade Julio. I'm going to have to go back and redo some things.
Yeah, I've got them at 2-15.
Fun fact, we haven't done the NFC South yet.
I thought we did. Maybe we were just talking about it.
Yeah. So the game that I have circled here is that Week 4 game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, because I think this is a measuring point for the Philadelphia Eagles this season and their quarterback situation. If they somehow hang with the Kansas City Chiefs defensively and offensively, and it is even within a 13-point point game, I could kind of see them catapulting, building off that momentum and through the rest of the season. But I do have them losing to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I had them losing bad, and I actually had them going 5-12 on the season, 2-4 in the division. Tori, what is your overall record for the Philadelphia Eagles?
So I have them going 2-15 and 1-5 in the division.
What about you?
I just not a lot of hope.
Sorry, I lost my place here. Where were we at?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep. Crap. My whole thing just wiped out on me. I had the Philadelphia Eagles at 0-6 in the division.
Oh, what about their overall record?
Overall record, I had them at 3-14.
Wow, so you guys are not giving much love to the Eagles at all, and I'm doubling their wins, and that's just 5. So that shows you how much confidence we have in the Philadelphia Eagles this season. But there has to be a MVP. There has to be a shining point somewhere on this team. Tori, who is your team MVP for the Eagles?
I don't know. Who's their kicker? Because he's going to kick because that team's going to kick a lot of field goals this year because they ain't going to be scoring a ton of touchdowns.
Their place kicker is Jake Elliott. I feel like he's been there forever,
and he's not. He's only been there probably 4 or 5 years. I don't.
Yeah, he's only 26 years old. So
yeah. So yeah, give me the kicker for the win.
Yeah,
just because that's the Eagles season in a nutshell.
What about you, Combs?
I mean, there's really not going to be any highlights to this team, so let's go with Darius Slay. I think Darius Slay will have a big year for them this year.
And I'm going to go with Miles Sanders. I think they're going to be running the ball a lot this season, so I think Miles Sanders is probably going to touch the ball 20 to 25 times every game, and it would not be surprising if he gets 15, 16, 100 yards this season. So I think Miles Sanders is going to be the bright spot of this team, unfortunately. Man, guys, are they the worst football team in the NFC East?
Yeah.
Hands
by
down.
far.
I think they're the worst team in the NFC.
Really?
Yeah.
Worst team in the NFC.
They're right there with the Falcons.
How about the worst team in NFL? Are they the worst team in the NFL?
No, I think the Texans are going to own that title this year.
No, I think the Jaguars are going to own that title this year.
Okay, so let's go ahead.
Jaguars are going to have the number 1 pick again next year.
And they drafted quarterback.
I mean, it worked for the Cleveland Browns for like 7 years. So
yeah, I mean, it just took them like 10 years to turn it around. So let's go ahead and make this full circle here. Combs, give me your NFC East first, second place, third, fourth team.
So it goes Dallas Cowboys, Washington not Redskins anymore, New York Football Giants, and then the Philadelphia Eagles.
And you said that you had the Cowboys winning that division?
Cowboys winning that division at 11-6.
Tori, what about you?
I've got Washington football team number 1. I've got the Cowboys finishing second, the New York Giants finishing third, followed up with the Philadelphia Eagles. So just to tell you how much confidence I have in you being wrong about Miles Sanders, right now they have eight running backs on their roster.
Okay, that's fine.
8.
Miles Sanders is still a top 5 running back in the NFL.
Oh, my God.
I mean, at least I can give you 5 and not say that Zeke isn't in the top 5. I'm just putting it out there. So I actually have the Eagles in 4th place, Washington at 3rd, Giants at 2, and the Cowboys winning the division at 10-7. Tori, let me ask you this question. You had the football team going 13-4. Are they the best team in the NFC?
They are the number 3 best team in the NFC.
So you have the NFC teams winning a lot of games.
Let me guess
season,
who's number 1.
Who's number 1?
You
Probably the Buccaneers.
Packers?
No, it would be the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
You got to be the man. You got to beat the man.
All right. So wow. So I'm assuming it's Buccaneers, Packers, and then Washington.
Yes.
Wow. Combs 13-4.
He's out of his mind. He's out of his mind. There's no other way to explain it other than he is on drugs, and we need to make sure that we check on him from here until tomorrow morning to make sure he doesn't
revisit
OD.
this. We'll be revisiting this at the end of December. And they're like, holy crap! Remember when Tori was extremely right?
Tori,
God would give me sleep.
Explain to me how Fitzmagic is going to lead them to 13 wins, please.
Because
we're not going to listen to you, Corey, tonight because you are 100% wrong on that. 100% wrong. Let's take a break, Combs. Jeez, this guy, Torrey, 13 of 4.
Out of his.
Man-Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Tori Anderson at Man_Combs, Man_Buck, and Man_Tori, all on the old Twitter machine, guys. So we've broken down the NFC East here. We gave you all of our predictions, but it is time to open up the phone lines, open up the chat to all the fans that are out there. So you guys want to talk about anything, let us know, and we'll be gladly to talk about it. But Combs, I want to talk about a little something first here, and that is the unwritten rules of baseball. We see when a player hits a bombing home run and they do the whole bat flip thing, 9 times out of 10, their next time up the bat, they're going to get thrown high and inside to just say, hey, you don't do that. Or you don't swing at a 3-0 pitch. You don't do this. You don't do that. Are you okay with the unwritten rules of baseball nowadays?
Of course not. And I keep saying this, and I'm going to continue to say it. I am not okay with the unwritten rules of baseball. And not only am I not okay with them, what I would be okay with is the next time that one of these pitchers says, oh, you know what, I'm going to take matters into my own hands, and I'm going to throw a pitch at this player for whatever the reason is, I want the batter to throw his bat back at the pitcher. You throw your weapon at me, I'm going to throw my weapon at you. You want to throw a ball at me, you want to try to hit me with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball to the head, I'm going to hit you with my bat as hard as I can. In your head. It's right. I'm so sick of it. It's dumb. Stop throwing at guys for stupid stuff. You shouldn't be throwing intentionally at a player anyway, because really, somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to die when they take a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to the face, and that's what it's going to take for baseball to finally say, you know what, enough's enough. The unwritten rules actually are stupid, so let's just stop.
Tori, you are a baseball connoisseur yourself. What are your thoughts on the unwritten rules?
I 100% agree with Brandon on this. It's the dumbest thing in the head. Everything's bigger, better, faster these days, and guys throwing 100, 200, and 3 miles an hour now is, back in the day, it was like, holy crap, somebody get clocked over 100. Nowadays, it's almost the standard. Now it's like, well, oh my God, a guy threw 105. So, and I agree, they're going to do nothing with it until somebody dies. They're going to be reactive versus proactive, and it's going to take a tragedy on the field on national TV for everybody to see that. Then they're going to be like, oh my God, we need to do something about this. It's like the safety netting. Well, we don't really need that. Oh, wait, somebody got drilled in the face. Oh, yeah, we should probably do something about that. So, I agree 110%. The unwritten rules are dumb. It's like, oh, you're up by 6 runs and you shouldn't try to steal a base when you're up by 6 runs. You know what? Dumber things have happened. What if all of a sudden they score 7 runs and we're down? So
exactly.
The unwritten rules, get rid of them. They're just stupid. It's it's like politics. It's old people making up the old rules.
Right. So I've been kind of going back and forth on this since this question was proposed. And so the one thing that I do not like about the unwritten rules is that a batter cannot show up a pitcher, but if a pitcher shows up a batter, it is A-okay. I am referring, I believe it was a Chicago White Sox guy, struck out a guy to end the game, and he does the Conor McGregor strut, like, off the mound. But that is okay, but a player can't do a bat flip. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't.
This is the one time where I will boast about Trevor Bauer. When Trevor Bauer says, do your thing, if you hit a home run off me, go ahead and flaunt it. Stop with the silliness. Stop with the idiocy. Because when I strike you out, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stare you down as I leave the mound. I'm going to do stupid stuff. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense.
It is the generation that we live in. Like, I mean, you work hard to do what you do, so why not celebrate, right? Like the bat flip, the strutting, etc. But Combs, I want to debunk of your whole policing of the baseball here a tad, because it was last week when we saw what was it, four fights in five minutes in the hockey game. It was the Capitals versus Rangers, right? But you were okay with that self-policing, but you're not okay with the baseball self-policing. Why is that?
Well, because in hockey they'll actually fight. In baseball they'll all run after each other and they won't do anything, and then the bullpens will walk in and take 5 minutes to get out there to pretend like they're defending their guys. It's a completely different sport. In hockey, you're allowed to hit each other. In hockey, it's a different environment. It's not even close to being the same.
But you are okay with that self-policing, but not,
because that's
throwing
the game.
inside.
The game is different.
Like
I mean, are you? Is it part of the game to intentionally hit someone in baseball?
I mean, if they're doing something wrong, yeah. If they're doing steroids or banging on trash cans,
The thing is in baseball, if you hit someone, you're out of the game. In hockey, you're sitting in the penalty box for 2 minutes or 5.
So how would you self-police baseball if you can't throw at somebody?
Get good, scrub.
Like, I don't understand that. Like, how does that self-police?
Doesn't be better at your job. I'm not a big believer, but it's like Brandon said, somebody whips a ball at my head. Why can't I whip my bat back at him?
Yeah, what's
gonna garner more attention, that you almost got hit or that you turned around and chucked your bat at him? They're like, he tried to assault him with a deadly weapon. Did you see him throw the ball at my head?
Wasn't it Roger Clemens that threw the bat at Mike Piazza? And
No,
Mike
Piazza threw his bat. Oh.
No, so Roger Clemens pitched him inside. The bat broke.
The bat broke, and then Roger Clemens threw the bat at Piazza. Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah.
That
must have been one of Clemens' roid rage moments.
I feel like baseball. That was the World Series game, wasn't it? Or at least
it was the Subway Series.
But it was in the playoffs, I thought, right?
Yeah, it was in the World Series.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Any more thoughts on that, Combs, before we head out?
No, I mean, look, the unwritten rules are exactly that. They're unwritten. So these are just rules that, like, you can make them up as they go. Like, it's absolutely asinine, and I don't understand it. And 95% of the unwritten rules don't make sense. They don't make sense.
True. Are there any other unwritten rules, like in hockey or football, that, the unwritten rule type thing?
I'm trying to think of any in hockey. I mean, in hockey, it's more of, you don't shoot the puck after the whistle. You don't keep jabbing at a goalie after he's stopped the puck. That type of stuff. That type of stuff will get you, into a fight or, get you in the penalty box. But it's not. But I mean, that's just common sense stuff. Like, I'm okay with, if you throw at our guy intentionally, we're throwing at your guy intentionally, because hey, that's eye for an eye.
Yeah. All right, Tori, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, it's the unwritten rules. Like, this isn't college football. Like with football, you don't go like you're up by 35. You're not running up the score on the people. You're not throwing the ball. You are, you're putting your second and third string guys in, letting them get a little bit of playing time, stuff like that. Like, if you're keeping your starters in and you're moving the ball on somebody, it's considered bad form in the NFL. And that's one thing I don't get, like with college. It's like, it's bad form in the NFL, but college football does it all the time because they got to impress somebody that might drop them a place in the rankings.
Facts on that. But that's going to be it for tonight. Combs, send us out.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.
And there is no after show tonight, guys. We are taking the night off for the after show. So join us Sunday here on the Man Hour, 8 p.m. East Coast time at youtube.com/Man Hour. See you guys next week. Bye.